I got word from a few people that an expose video was going to be made about my mom.
Oh my god, did you hear about Tati Westbrook's multivitamin? Oh my god, I heard it had salpalmetto. Apparently it gets you pregnant.
But I'm doing something different. Being a Scientologist.
I don't work with dumb people.
Get sat down, get the tea ready, because everything, and I mean everything, has kicked off. Hello, and thank you for joining me today for part 6 of the Tati Halo Beauty investigation. As with the rest of the series, it's not going to be a drag Tati video. I think she's getting dragged a lot across the internet, and I don't like drag culture. This is really just going to be informative. It's just going to be objective. We're just going to look through what she said. Tati has come on camera and has spoken publicly, finally, about the controversy surrounding her makeup launch, which wasn't makeup, it was a vitamin pill.
I don't work with dumb people.
The actual video that she posted was 52 minutes long. I know a lot of you have said to me, John, please react to it, please react to it. Obviously, I don't think you want me to react to the whole thing because that would be like a 2 or 3 hour video. But what I am going to do is skip through the most important parts that I found, and I thought it would be fun for us to go through them, analyse what she's saying against what's happened, about the information that we found publicly. In Kuckian's courtroom, you decide. Tati Westbrook is a huge beauty YouTuber. She has currently 3.8 million subscribers. She launched her makeup line, which was eagerly anticipated. She has a very active audience. She posts videos every single day nearly. She gets nearly 1 million views per video, so she does very well. She's known for doing like WTF videos, like first impression videos. That's like her thing. She released this makeup line. Now, there's been quite a lot of controversies. There's been actual things that we've come across that have categorically been suspicious, to the point where you would think, wow, that's strange. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch the episode that I did yesterday, which is episode 5. In that episode, we looked into the ingredients list, and in episode 2, we looked into one particular chemical that Tati made a really big deal of, and that one particularly arouses the most suspicions. Tati does address that in this video, and I think it's going to be very, very juicy when we get to that bit. So get strapped in, get the tea ready, and let's get straight into this video.
My launch, although very, very successful, was also a different reaction than I had anticipated.
Tati's saying that the launch went very well. Why don't we talk about numbers? Tati said publicly that she sold around 25,000 units at the launch, and that was half of her stock-ish.
I think so far today we've had over 400,000 people visit the site. We have sold over 25,000 bottles, and that means we're about halfway through our inventory, so that is fantastic. I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of how things are going. For some reason, some people say that she made 60,000 in total. Some people are saying 50,000. We're not 100% sure. What we do know is that Tati hadn't hidden the information from her Shopify. Anyone could publicly go and check and see that she only had 44,000 units in stock. If she had started out with 50,000 units, that would mean she only sold 6,000 units out of having an audience of 3.8 million. However, if she had made 60,000 units, then that would have been 16,000 units sold. Either way, it would be 6,000 or 16,000, and Tati did say she sold about half of her stock, and it was 25,000. So that would lead us to imply that her stock levels were now at 25,000-ish or less. It does kind of raise suspicions. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I haven't worded that weirdly. Tati says that she started off with 50,000, let's just say 50. She says that she sold 25,000 units, therefore she should only have 25,000 units left in stock. But the Shopify store, when I've checked it, has showed 44,000 units available, which would mean either she's only sold 6,000 units, or there's obviously some sort of deep issue going on. Do I think there's a deep issue going on with her store? No, because she's put major investment into this company. She mentions in this video that she has a board of people. Let's continue, but I did just think that was the first kind of thing that I did want to go over and mention. I know that a few of you have seen it as well, and it was just something to think about. I just want to quickly touch on something that's just like looming over my head, and I can't really dive into this video without talking about it, because I had to sit down here and just share with you guys everything, like the good, the bad, the ridiculous. So I'm going to touch on something that I personally think is absolutely ridiculous. So I got word that a video was going to be made exposing my mom being a Scientologist.
Tati goes on to say that someone apparently on Twitter said they were going to make a video about Tati's mum, because they'd found that 18 years ago, Tati's mum had done a course in Scientology. Obviously, that's completely inappropriate for someone to threaten to make a video about Tati's mum. I do think it's obviously wrong. The internet can get really twisted. That's why I don't want to be seen as being part of any community with my videos. I just like to be my own channel, because there is a lot of stuff like that that happens, and I don't agree with it. I think when you start making videos about someone's parent as tea that has nothing to do with the internet, I just think that's a bit... I don't know who it was. I don't know exactly who the person was. I can just see Tati talking about it. Yeah, I do just think it's crazy to start threatening someone's parent. And obviously I don't endorse that and I don't agree with that.
And I know I haven't talked about vitamins all the time on my channel. I have before in the past. People are saying that I had never, ever, ever had talked about health and wellness and vitamins. I have. Number 3 is take your vitamins. Take either biotin for your nail health, hair, and skin. At very minimum, take a multivitamin. And I definitely see a difference in everything when I'm consistent with vitamins. I know that I made a vow that 2015 I was going to be very, very consistent, and it's really strange, but drinking lots of water and taking vitamins and working out a little bit, just in a few days I feel like a different woman. I mean, my God, I've talked about vitamins, I've talked about how to make healthy smoothies, how to incorporate more hydration into your day with infused water.
So Tati is saying that she has spoken about vitamins on her channel. Vitamins? Why am I saying vitamins? No, you're English, you're British. Tati Westbrook says in her video that she has spoken about vitamins previously on her channel because many people are saying this is a bit random. You're a first impressions channel with an expensive skincare routine which has kept her skin in very good condition. So people are saying it's random. Why are you doing that? She's linked a video for reference saying I have spoken about vitamins before, okay? However, this was posted on the 6th of January 2015. So that was over 3 years ago. It just seems strange that the video that she's referencing to say that she's taken a vitamin is 3 years ago. You would think there would be a more recent example. It's something that I just thought was a little bit strange, but again, you can make your own mind up. I just don't get why. If you speak about it so much, why would you reference something from 3 years ago? Was there no better example?
Name of a cosmetics line for me. I always loved the name Halo. I was obsessed with it. I was drawn to it. There is great meaning to it. And I already have my baby names picked out, you guys. Like, I'm that kind of person that I have a list of names.
Please just remember what she's saying now about how Halo Beauty was the name that she's always been attracted to, and this is the name that she wanted a line to have for a long time. Please just keep this in your mind and remember it.
Biggest question out there, the biggest oh my God, I can't believe this, is that James owns Inside Out Beauty Labs. Now, it blows my mind that people found this stuff. It really just does. We do own Inside Out Beauty Labs, and that was so that we could trademark Ceramide RX. The Inside Out Beauty Labs is not the lab where Halo Beauty is made and formulated. That is just a company name that we own. We were gonna call Halo Beauty Inside Out Beauty Labs and just, IOB, and then we were gonna have Beauty Booster be a part of it, and I could not get Beauty Booster trademarked. That was never gonna be trademarked, so I had to let that go and move on, and then I decided Halo was going to be the big thing. But long story short, yes, James, who is working with me, I am gonna get to that, does have his name on a company called Inside Out Beauty Labs.
This is the juicy bit. So basically when Tati launched this brand, she neglected to mention that her husband owned a company called Inside Out Beauty Labs, which is very recently incorporated, which owns the trademark to Ceramide RX, which is the magical chemical that Tati included in her thing and made a big deal of in a launch video.
As an example, there's one ingredient in here,
Ceramide RX,
that is crazy expensive, but it works.
My question was, if the business is Halo Beauty LLC and it's your company and it's your product, why on earth would you be registering trademarks under a different company? It doesn't make any sense. Like if this is the company, you would register the trademark under this company. Under your name, Tati doesn't own Inside Out Beauty Labs from what I could see. Tati's husband did. So if it's your brand and it's your product, why would you have the trademark filed by your husband's company? Do you see what I mean? It's just very, very suspicious. Of James Westbrook. James Westbrook is the name of Tati's husband, who's often on a channel and they talk about being in business and stuff together. So it seems like James Westbrook, who is Tati's husband, is behind Inside Out Beauty Labs LLC.
We do own Inside Out Beauty Labs, and that was so that we could trademark Ceramide RX. The Inside Out Beauty Labs is not the lab where Halo Beauty is made and formulated.
To clarify, she said that we did this so that we could file the trademark, but I don't understand why she couldn't have filed the trademark under Halo Beauty. trademark. This trademark was filed very, very recently, within the past 5 or 6 months actually. It was done in, is it September that it was filed? This is for Ceramide RX and further, and I wanted to know who filed this trademark application, and to my surprise, it was filed by a small, relatively new company that goes by the name of Inside Out Beauty Labs LLC. Inside Out Beauty Labs LLC. So that was my starting point. It wasn't registered by Halo Beauty LLC, which is the company that Tati Westbrook is the president of, which we will get onto, because Halo Beauty was incorporated shortly. So
the Inside Out Beauty Labs is not the lab where Halo Beauty is made and formulated. That is just a company name that we own. We were going to call Halo Beauty Inside Out Beauty Labs and just, IOB, and then we were going to have Beauty Booster be a part of it. And I could not get Beauty Booster trademarked. That was never going to be trademarked, so I had to let that go and move on. And then I decided Halo was going to be the big thing.
Do you remember I said to you earlier about Halo Beauty being the name that she wanted? I did just think this is very, very strange how she's now saying in the video, oh, we were thinking of calling it Inside Out Beauty Labs, and we were going to call it IOB or whatever. That doesn't make any sense. She was saying that, she already has names picked out, and if you watch the video yourself, please do. I just felt like the tone that she took was very, dismissive, as opposed to the rest where it's trying to be a bit more sincere. Oh yeah, we were going to do this, and we were going to do this, but then we didn't. Maybe it's just me looking into things too much. It wouldn't be the first time, but please let me know what you think about this. Do you think that she's being sincere, and do you think that she had intention of using Inside Out Beauty Labs? Because when we looked into Inside Out Beauty Labs, Tati wasn't an owner of the brand. So she says we own the brand, but the brand was registered, from what I could research, to Tati's husband and another person that we looked into.
Inside Out Beauty Labs is where we were able to trademark Ceramide RX, and we did that so that we could differentiate ourselves in the marketplace, because the ceramide that we have does come from Japan, and it is a ceramide that is clinically proven. That's why we went with this particular source, so that we could legally say clinically proven, because they did do trials.
All of this video, I do try and stay very PG, okay? But this is the point where I call bullshit. This compound Ceramide RX, I told you I had an issue with it in episode 2. Something just didn't smell right with the entire compound, the way that she was talking about it and insinuating it was some sort of magic compound. When I looked into Ceramide RX, which is actually just a different ceramide, they've just renamed it for the US market. It's already out there. It's not some sort of brand new compound that's amazing. It's just a ceramide derived from rice. And the clinical study that she's referring to, when she always says, this is clinically proven to work.
This is clinically proven to work.
This is clinically tested, was actually done, I believe, 17 years ago in Japan. The subject's name was changing throughout the study. The paper was missing its authors. So just to clarify, this entire study was done on one person, and I think they were 23 years old. So when you think of it like that, most scientific studies to prove if something work, when you see a TV advert and it says 85% out of 60 women agreed that their hair felt stronger. In comparison, imagine if you watched a TV advert and at the bottom it said, 17 years ago, one woman agreed that this worked. Do you see what I mean? So that's just kind of the thing I'm talking about. Clinical trials usually are very now. Most people that release products now, like Olay, for example, if they're releasing a moisturizer and it has a claim, it will be tested now. Whereas this compound, this entire pill, I don't think has been tested. When she says this is clinically proven to work, I think she's only referring to one of the ingredients. And that's really debatable if it's really clinically proven to work, because it was done 17 years ago and the paper looks really sketchy. Scientific papers always have authors, because to get published is quite a prestigious thing in the scientific community. So it's weird that there's information missing. It just generally doesn't sit right the way that it's been done. Doing a study for anti-aging products on a 23-year-old on one subject, it's just a bit weird. I don't want to damn the situation, and I don't want to look at it in a bad way, but it's kind of a little bit of alarm bells.
And it is a ceramide that is clinically proven. That's why we went with this particular source, so that we could legally say clinically proven.
And that particular ingredient being manufactured by that particular company, when I looked into it, was not cruelty-free. It was tested on mice. So Tati is saying this is a cruelty-free product, but one of the compounds she's buying direct from the supplier, that supplier, allegedly from what I can find, tested that compound on mice. So there's chemicals that are used today that have been previously tested on animals that you don't need to test on animals now. But this is different. This is the original manufacturer in Japan. It looks like they did test it on mice and now they're selling it to Tati. So that's just something that you ethically could have a think about and talk about down below in the comments if you want to.
And That ceramide is also marketed as ceramide PCD. We sought counsel on it, and the best idea was to trademark it ceramide RX. So that's what we did. We really believe ceramide RX is going to be a very popular ingredient, and there was a time where we felt we could sell this ingredient. So being fully transparent, yeah, we trademarked ceramide RX. We do have a deal with the manufacturing company, and they are over in Japan, and we are legally in the clear to do everything that we are doing. We are legally in the clear to post on our website all of their clinical trials and photos.
Just to clarify, Tati is saying that instead of listing this ingredient under its normal name in her ingredients list where people could Google it and potentially buy it from a different source, because the original ceramide that Tati's using is widely available in the US. I do believe that some people found it on the internet in some Walmart stores, in some Walmart multivitamins. So it's something that is quite widely available. So what she's saying, I think, is that they tried to upmarket it as being some sort of different thing. Now, for a corporation, that's normal, but Tati isn't a corporation. Tati is a beauty YouTuber, and it's not random customers that she's marketing to buying the product. It's the beauty community. It's her own audience that support her. So
that ceramide is also marketed as ceramide PCD. We sought counsel on it, and the best idea was to trademark it ceramide RX. So that's what we did.
From what she's saying, in my humble opinion, it kind of sounds like she was trying to use marketing tactics against her audience, but in a little bit of a manipulative way, saying to them, oh, there's this compound, it's amazing, no one has it, but realistically, the reason no one has it is because her spouse owns the trademark to it, and she's now clarifying and talking in a video and saying, yes, that's true, but I kind of just think I needed a minute to soak that in, because I don't know about you, but with me, that just didn't sit right properly. Like if I came onto a video and said, oh, my new hair oil has this amazing ingredient, no one else has it, and then you Googled and found out, oh, the reason no one has it is because John filed a trademark and it's actually a really common compound, you'd be like, oh, okay, do you see what I mean?
But I'm doing something different. I'm putting a therapeutic dose of something that is very expensive in Halo Beauty.
She might be putting a therapeutic dose, but she's also trademarking it to make it look like a new compound. Just
as an example, there's one ingredient in here,
Ceramide RX,
that is crazy expensive, but it works.
So I don't get that twisted.
They built it from the ground up. This is a smart businessman, and I'm lucky to have him. I don't work with dumb people.
I don't work with dumb people.
Oh my god, did you hear about Tati Westbrook's multivitamin? Oh my god, I heard it had sal palmetto. Apparently it gets you pregnant.
But I'm doing something different.
All my damage.
I don't work with dumb people.
Pepper, you okay? Bitch, my titties are quaking! Pepper, calm down. It's okay. It's okay.
Doing it, we're talking about saw palmetto, the most controversial ingredient in Halo Beauty. This has caused the biggest uproar.
Sal palmetto.
I am so shocked. My lab is shocked. The doctors that I work with are shocked. They are so blown away that people are going straight to WebMD and pulling up these articles that say things like might, may, and this is inaccurate information. The might and may against our formulation and the amount that is in Halo Beauty is just untrue. You will also see on WebMD that they list garlic as something that could interact with your birth control. It might. It may. It lists alfalfa, it lists flaxseed. So these are things that I want to bring up because everybody's referring straight to WebMD. Go and talk to your physician, go and talk to, someone in the medical field.
A lot of people did write to me in my comments yesterday and said that they found this quite condescending, the way that she was saying, just because you've looked in WebMD, I work with professionals and they say this, they say that. Realistically, we did in-depth research yesterday. I looked specifically into that compound, and I do think that, in my humble opinion, it is something that you would want to speak to a doctor about. And personally, I would not take along a birth control that works on the basis of estrogen. I know that Tati's saying it's nothing to worry about, but when it comes to a pregnancy, personally, the dosage is relatively low, but it's still high enough to have an impact on a certain person. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know how to say it. It's like driving. You could say, oh, well, I've never had a car crash, but you could have a car crash tomorrow, People say that condoms are 99% safe. Same thing with the pill. So imagine reducing that percentage with the pill from 99% safe to 95% safe, 92% safe, 87% say you really don't know. Endocrinology is a very complex subject.
And not diagnosed by someone on Twitter or WebMD. So please keep that in mind. This has been a very heightened, alarming situation where everyone is freaking out. And the reality is the amount of saw palmetto that is in Halo Beauty is just not enough. The dosing that you're seeing where people are going, oh my gosh, why would that be in there, is a 2,000 milligram dosing. Now that's what men take to decrease the size of their prostate. So saw palmetto, which is a berry, it's a berry, some people call it an herb, it comes from a plant. This is an ingredient that is used to decrease inflammation. It does a lot of great things. Like, I'm going to talk about that as well. It does so many great things.
And I do just think that this is something that Tati really could have talked about in the actual launch video, because it is a controversial ingredient. There are multiple articles across the internet, not just WebMD articles, but there's clinical trials and research into the effects of saw palmetto on birth control. It's not some like rumor that's going across the internet, like it's a real thing. Using a controversial ingredient like that, it would have made more sense to address it at the very beginning and explain, as opposed to include something, you know?
Glutathione. There was a video that was made about skin whitening, and I have to just, like, I can't.
L-glutathione. My issue is that from the research that I did personally, when I was looking into this, I wasn't looking at WebMD or doctors' websites where doctors give people advice. I was going specifically to clinical trials, which is really where the source of information is. That's where people grow their knowledge from and write papers from. It's the original investigations. From the original investigation that I spoke about yesterday, this ingredient, L-glutathione, isn't absorbed orally in the body. You know, there's certain things, like you could say, oh, I want to get a tattoo, therefore I'm going to eat tattooing. It wouldn't work like that. Do you see what I mean? There's certain things where just because you eat something doesn't mean it's the same as rubbing it over your skin or something similar to that. When I looked into L-glutathione, it was only effective when supplied intravenously, which is direct into the blood through your arm, etc. Taking oral supplements, from the research that I saw, was pointless. There was a study done where they gave them 1,000 milligrams every single day, and after a month they checked the levels of L-glutathione in the subject's blood and it had not increased. Please do your own research. I know a few doctors say take this, take that, but from my research and looking at the actual clinical trials, it's pointless. I don't know, it just looks like a filler. It looks like one of those things that you include to be able to say, oh, this ingredient is, you know, does this.
I've worked so long on this formula, and along the way, working with individuals that are so skilled and educated on the topic of supplements and ingredients.
I did just want to add here that there are multiple articles where people say that it is effective when you take 1,000 milligrams daily for 6 months. However, those studies that I was reading were done specifically to a name brand. So it was in the brand's best interest to produce results. And for that reason, I don't count them as being that credible. Whereas the study that I saw where they were taking 1,000 milligrams for a month only was not in relation to a brand with a trademark. A reminder that those studies were done with 1,000 milligrams, whereas Tati is giving you 10 milligrams. So there is a significant difference, and I would really debate if there would be any impact of this compound at that dosage.
And when I saw some of these videos, I was just like, oh my God, you know? Glutathione. This is something that in high doses, like mega doses, is sometimes sold as a skin whitening supplement. But if you look at a lot of skincare, specifically Asian skincare, you will see a lot of whitening masks, whereas in the States, we call them brightening masks.
So wrong that what Tati Westbrook just said triggered me, offended me, and upset me. No hatred towards Tati, obviously. This is not a hate video, but I wanted to share something with you because skin lightening isn't skin brightening in the US. It's two completely different things, and the fact that Tati would manipulate it like this is really quite hurtful. I want to read you a very short passage about something in India.
But if you look at a lot of skincare, specifically Asian skincare, you will see a lot of whitening masks, whereas in the States, we call them brightening masks.
This is really, really common, so let's read this, okay? In India, a typical supermarket will have a wall of personal care products featuring whitening moisturizers or lightening body creams from recognizable brands. Pooja Kannan, a 27-year-old from Bombay, spent years buying cosmetics that promised to lighten her complexion. For a while, she put her for treating skin fairness problems. Notice the terminology, skin fairness. It's not about brightening your complexion, it's about whitening your skin, because those with darker skin tones are not seen as being as successful, and the women are seen as being less desirable. It is a severe, serious problem. There are many dangerous supplements on the market and it has absolutely no relation. Kanan's natural skin tone looks a healthy light brown to me, but when she was growing up, her elder aunts would shake their heads in disappointment over her complexion. A tan would leave some relatives and classmates to admonish her. "You've turned black," they said. And in India, where skin tone often defines a person's success in society and their ability to find work or a spouse, that sort of thing matters. Kanan says she brushed off her relatives' criticisms for being from a different generation, but her classmates' comments made her feel insecure. This is just one tiny example of a massive ecosystem of problems, and for Tati to sweep over that and try and twist it to meet her agenda.
But if you look at a lot of skincare, specifically Asian skincare, you will see a lot of whitening masks, whereas in the States, we call them brightening masks.
I think is really quite upsetting. I'm sorry to get serious.
And we use the word brightening. Now, skin whitening technically is talking about hyperpigmentation, sun damage, unevenness in the skin, and to me, I'm like, sign me up. Like, if it can do that, great. Sign me up. Like, if it can do that, great. Sign me up. Like, if it can do that, great.
Skin lightening in the Asian market, for those of you that are Asian, you will know it's not about brightening the skin. It's about lightening the skin. There's a very underlying racist theme internally within certain Asian countries. I do say that not so lightly. Say, for example, you went onto a dating website and a man was looking to get married, he would say, she must be fair-skinned. It's quite a common thing. And as a result of that sort of pressure and the Western influence that kind of comes across over to particular Asian countries, it means that there are skin lightening products that are sold, and there are also some very, very dangerous skin lightening products on the market that do cause people permanent damage. Some of them contain mercury, which is obviously poisonous. And I did a painting about skin lightening a long time ago. It was Pocahontas. It was part of a Disney series, and it basically just showed that the effect of long-term skin lightening by that particular method can leave you with these grey patches over your skin. So I just want to clarify, Tati's making it sound like, it's skin brightening, it's done across here, it's all fine, if that's what it does, sign me up. But I think Tati is more than aware that there's a significant issue with it not being skin brightening, it's skin lightening in Asia. For my Asians out there, please do comment down below, you will know this. Even Shah Rukh Khan was behind a skin brightening product and a skin whitening product, and it's all about how can we be more fair, not how can we be more even skin toned. Do you see what I'm saying? That just irritated me a bit because that was manipulating a fact regardless of how big or small it is, and I just didn't like that.
Got Ceramide RX just one more time because I want to tell you guys that I legally am in the right to say that it is clinically proven to work.
Again, the thing we spoke about earlier about clinically proven, 17 years ago, research on one patient, and you would feel comfortable saying that it's clinically proven because it was tested on one person 17 years ago? I'm shocked. Titties are shaking.
But pricing for international shipping was supposed to be $11.95, which I think is very fair. At the last minute, literally right before we went live on Friday, they told me that I wasn't approved for the type of shipping that was $11.95 like I was told I would be. So I was so frustrated. I mean, I can't even explain to you guys. I have been working non-stop from that moment. I have been on the phone. I have been in touch with my fulfillment center. I have been trying to work this out, and they are going to approve me. So we are working on this.
I do just want to add here, in Tati's defense completely, when you're working with fulfillment warehouses and solutions like that, from my experience, I've worked with a lot of different types of people, and it's the worst possible sector. I genuinely actually do really sympathize with Tati here. I completely agree with what she's saying. I think that is what happened. I don't think she's lying, and now that she said that, it makes more sense, because we were thinking, why is she trying to charge $29 for international shipping? Whereas now you can see, last minute the warehouse said this and they couldn't fix it. But fulfillment warehousing is horrible. Absolutely horrible. I sympathize with Tati. I do.
Oh my God. Extensions, Botox, facials, makeup, 3 primers, 3 foundations. Why would I believe her? Why would I believe anything that she is selling me would work? First off, you guys see me here all the time without makeup on, like all of the time.
I did think it was funny how she acted that out.
I've maintained a schedule on YouTube that is so difficult to do while flying here, there, everywhere, and pulling together a really great product.
That is very true. Tati has had a really crazy upload schedule. She literally uploads every day. Who does that remind you of? exposed. Conclusions. Tati's titties have flown to the next dimension. They have broken the sound barrier, broken Mach 2. They have flown past the Concorde. Everything is kicked off. What do you think about the situation? Part of me does obviously feel very sorry for Tati because she's really in the line of fire right now. And I do think with some aspects it is for good reason, definitely. You know, some of the things that have happened have been a bit horrible and I don't think anyone should really have to deal with that. At the same time, there's definitely some things I think we've covered today that I personally don't feel too comfortable with, especially with the RX ceramide sale tactic that she tried to inflict onto people. I just didn't really find it very authentic. I've said before, I don't think it's a dangerous product. I personally wouldn't take it just because I don't know anything about where it's been manufactured. When something is manufactured on a really big scale by a big company, it just makes me feel a bit safer because they have the money to invest in mass production, into, you know, quality control, all those sorts of things. The liability becomes much bigger because there's investors and lots of people involved. With smaller companies, when it comes to healthcare, it does worry me a bit just because I'm not too sure how good the quality is going to be. There's still a bit of a mix match about where the product is made. Tati said it's not formulated by Inside Out Beauty Labs, but she didn't say that it wasn't manufactured by Inside Out Beauty Labs. Inside Out Beauty Labs does have an owner alongside James, who is Tati's husband, that from my research on episode 2 did have an involvement with manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, you know, with equipment and stuff. So that would imply that there's some sort of lab work going on at Inside Out Labs LLC. So I'm really not too sure what's happening. I don't exactly know what the deal is. On the packaging, I guarantee it will just say distributed by Halo Beauty, which is what most brands do. I don't know where it's being manufactured and it just makes me a bit nervous. I don't think it's going to be dangerous. Tati is obviously very intelligent. You can see throughout this entire scandal, it's not a case of stupidity. It's a case of, you know, it's two very smart people doing something and slowly being caught out one by one, thinking that people weren't going to pick up on the paper trail. I do want to know what you think about this entire situation. One half of my heart really does go out to Tati because, you know, there's stuff going on with people attacking family and stuff. The internet can be really savage and horrible. Throughout this scandal, I do feel like quite a few people, I read my comments yesterday, and a few people do feel a bit put off Tati from this whole thing and the way that she's dealt with it. I think she did well to make a 52-minute video talking about it. I think that's a really strong power play move. She's a very put together businesswoman, you know, in a lot of ways. At the same time, I do just feel like the authenticity there has been questioned. I personally watched Tati for a really, really long time. I really loved her channel. I was really into her content. I really liked the way that she did things. I did find her a bit boring, but I kind of liked that. Sometimes I just felt like being boring and I could watch her. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's nice to have someone that isn't like ultra high energy. But then recently, ever since the Jeffrey thing happened, I've just seen changes and I've not felt too keen, so I kind of just took a step back. In terms of Tati's future on the YouTube platform, I think she'll be fine. This is one product. It's definitely caused some controversy. As long as it doesn't kill anyone, I think she's going to be okay. I'm sorry to say that so abruptly, but it is kind of the only thing that would really cause any issues. You know, someone was to get ill from the vitamin. I do think that Tati is very resilient. She's very strong, and I think that she will be fine through this. I do think that the way that she's dealing with things is very much, it just doesn't sit well with me, especially with the birth control thing. It's like she'd rather make a sale than spend 3 seconds warning someone that it could potentially play with their birth control. And to me, that just isn't authentic, and I just don't really like that. I think she's a very hard worker. I think she's pulled together a really good product, and I think if she wasn't a beauty YouTuber and she just generally released this onto the market, I don't think she would have that many issues. But I do think that being in her position, she has a great deal of responsibility, and people are going to question everything that she does, especially when she's playing around with these trademarks and stuff. Inevitably, people are going to catch her out and ask her questions, and sometimes the responses have been a bit confrontational, which just kind of lead you to believe, like, what are you hiding? What's the issue? So yeah, that's my thought for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think down below of this entire situation. If you would like me to look into this any further, if there is anything else you would like me to look into, please do let me know down below. But yes, overall, I think this has been a really great series. I don't know if it's over yet. We might have 1 or 2 more pieces to do, but I really enjoyed looking into this. I've enjoyed watching how the internet has dealt with this situation. Personally, I wouldn't buy the pill. I wouldn't endorse the pill. I wouldn't advise anyone to take the pill. I just don't know enough about the brand, and there's been too many things that haven't added up properly, and that just confused me, especially the way that she's marketed this clinically proven ingredient that was clinically proven 17 years ago on one patient, from what I could find. Please do look into it yourself. That didn't sit right with me. And if someone's going to play games with clinical studies and say clinically proven when realistically no one would class that in our day and age as being something as reliable and credible, if that's the game she wants to play, that's fine, that's okay, but I don't want to be involved. Thank you for watching. Please do not send any negativity to anybody involved in this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.